Hello, everyone, and welcome to our channel. Today is our Sunday tonic for teaching, and tonight we've got a good one for you. Before we get right into it, because this one is hot and we need to serve it straight from the kitchen, I'll need to let my moderators introduce themselves while I calm myself down because I'm ready to go. If you're watching from home, hi. If you're watching live, yes, please. Please leave as many comments in this comment section as possible. This is going to be very interactive. And yes, let's go, ladies. Mommy, do you want to start introducing yourself? And then Oyin.
Hello, everyone. I'm Omowumi from Omowumi's channel. I'm a licensed teacher in the UK and also a licensed teacher from Nigeria. So you're welcome. On my channel, I talk about teaching abroad, life abroad generally, and lifestyle. You're welcome to today's live session.
Hello, everyone. My name is Onyinye Anikwe, and I am a US and UK licensed teacher. My YouTube channel is Oni Anikwe, and my content is around skincare, lifestyle, and teaching as well. So I think I'll stop it there. I'm happy to be here today.
I was already catching the vibe, like, yeah, go on. Meanwhile, before we go on, please tell us what is the secret of this glow?
Moisturize. I
I thought
cannot
you were going to say
overemphasize that.
I thought you were going to say black don't crack.
Moisturize.
Okay, moisturize.
If
Mm.
it's black, it will crack or leave that thing. You have to be taking care of the skin, honestly. Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
moisturize,
That's true. That
moisturize.
is true. Mommy, as you notice, I was saving your introduction for Mommy, you dropped something last night. Was it last night? Remind me again.
Bombshell.
Friday.
Mommy, you dropped something. You dropped something. First of all, you dropped something. When I watched it, because when I watch things like that, I like to go through the comments to see what people feel, get people's vibes. And I like it when the comment section is
Is on fire.
divided. It
Mm-hmm.
means that some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. It means that you've provoked discourse. And this is what YouTube is all about.
Something.
As a YouTuber, I know that YouTube always says that they want engagement. And so if people are going quick, on your channel, it means you are hitting all the points on the YouTube channel. So please tell us what motivated you to drop that explosive. I mean, I don't know why whether people don't understand why it is explosive for me. The topic of today's live is get into teaching abroad question and answer session. Is this the right profession for you? Why would I say that if we are promoting teaching abroad? Mommy, please explain why I'm so vibed up from your video from yesterday.
Yeah, if you have not watched the video, I think you will need to go and watch that video. It's with a Nigerian guy, a very brilliant, amazing person, a physics specialist, and is a licensed teacher in the UK, whereby we talked about everything teaching abroad and comparing with teaching pedagogy in Nigeria. So that was what we talked about. And we actually, with what we talked about, if you can like get all the information you need, and then
Sorry.
yeah, and then you can see for yourself and ask yourself that question. The three of us, we've thought about it in differently, and then we came together. When you come together and talk about it, you have the same thing in your mind, saying, is teaching abroad actually for everyone? I thought about it separately. Onyi also thought about it. Diaspora
Yes.
thought about it. And then we came together and we were like, is teaching actually for everyone? Or is it because some people came into this teaching profession just because, oh, okay, I think teaching abroad, it pays well. The money is there. I think I should go into teaching, not because they have passion for it, not because they have the knowledge about teaching, we are going to generalize it this evening. It's not even about teaching abroad. It's teaching generally. Is
Yeah.
teaching actually for you? Is this profession for you? Are you there because of the money? Are you there because is an highly skilled job profession? Because you want people to know, oh, okay, I'm a teacher, which sounds good to the heads in this part of the world, especially in the morning. I can remember when I take a cab and then the cab man will be like, "Where are you going?" I will say, "I'm a teacher. I'm going to a school." They'll be like, "Oh, you're a teacher." They are always amazed when you tell them you're a teacher. "Oh, you're a teacher." Are
Yeah.
you there because of that? So that is what we're going to be discussing today. So can you comment in the comment section where you're watching us from? Bolanle is here. Rahama is here. You're welcome. Fortune, you're welcome. Oyi,
Yes.
welcome.
Fortune. Fortune. Yes, please.
Yeah. So, ladies, what do you think?
Hmm.
Do you think teaching is actually for everyone? This profession we are in, do you think everyone can teach? Because I would say, I know some people will come for me for saying this. Back home, anybody can actually, if you can't find a job in your field, some people will just go into teaching and say, okay, I can't find a job in the engineering, I can be a physics teacher, let me just go into teaching and earn a living. So,
Yeah.
ladies, do you think everyone can actually teach? Does this profession fit? Is it fit for her? Oyin,
I
what do you
don't.
think about
Yeah, I completely agree with what you just said about back home. So it's a thing that if you find it hard to get a job, the quickest
that?
thing to jump into is teaching. And
Yeah.
just because school owners are not willing to spend money on investing in their staff, they are quick to just employ as long as you have a bachelor's in that certain field, they
Mm,
absorb you. But the big thing is that there's a difference between the content knowledge and the pedagogical skills you need to excel as a teacher.
mhm,
So
Yes.
whilst you might be very good in math, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be good at delivering or impacting that knowledge on someone else. So having the content knowledge is just like a piece of the puzzle, right?
Exactly.
You now need the pedagogical skills to be able to thrive as a teacher, to be able to, unlock those potentials that your students have. So, whilst everyone might be good in their field, I really don't believe that teaching is for everyone. There are certain other skills that if you do not possess, then you're going to be frustrated in your teaching career.
mm,
I think the way we see teaching in our home countries follows us here, forgetting that the culture here is different, the outlook here is different, where we see teaching as nothing, forgetting that it determines the future of our children and the future of the country. And we can see the effects in the way it's affecting everything we do. Over here, they're not there yet because even they when I say they're not there yet, I mean the UK. Let's use the UK because both of you work in the UK, even though I don't work in the UK. So they're not there yet. And everyone keeps looking at Finland and Norway and Sweden because those are the countries that are really doing a good job with teaching. Luxembourg is paying teachers really well and it's translating into so many things. People still don't jump into teaching because of that in these countries because the government puts a lot of restrictions on teaching. You cannot just waltz in from the street and jump into teaching. You have to go through the vetting, you have to go through the qualification checks, you have to go through everything. So when people come here and think that they can just jump into teaching, I look at them again. I take each person on their own merit. And a lot of people will tell you, not be teaching. We can do it. I sabi maths those days. Someone said that to me. I know how to. I was very good in maths. Just because you're very good in maths doesn't mean you know how to break down the maths. Are you patient enough to differentiate the maths, or is it the way you learn the maths? You feel like everybody should be able to learn the maths that way, and then you become a stumbling block in the classroom to the children. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. From the minute you enter the classroom, in my experience, from the minute you enter the school, not even the classroom, the the culture of the place would not they will nobody needs to remind you. You will know that you've entered a different arena. People there are trying every day to be better versions of themselves. Imagine you come into that kind of place and you don't think that you should be a better version of yourself because you think that I know maths. It will spit you out immediately. To spit you out immediately. Unfortunately, for people who look like us, we then leave a bad taste in the mouth of the people so that other people who look like us who come in will now not be able to access it. So this question is really something that you should ask. I think doesn't don't they ask this question when we do teacher training? Is teaching the right profession for you?
Yes.
There's a way they put it. So you have to go and do
Yeah.
self-reflection where you have to
Mm.
think about why you're coming into teaching. I mean your personal statement when you're applying for a PGCE. Sorry, I didn't do PGD in Nigeria. I did PGCE. But even the one I did in the US, you had to first of all tell them why teaching? Why not something else?
Yeah.
Why not something else? So people need to think about this first and foremost because there's nothing as bad as walking into something blindly.
Mm.
It will not fare well at all, at all, at all, at all. Oh my goodness. I was talking to my son today. Something as let me give you a good example. The first time I learned that you have to fill the kettle back in the staff room. You know when you go into the staff room and you drink tea. See when he's laughing, mom is laughing. Because people know that culture. Because we work here. You go into the staff room, there's a jug of water in the kettle or whatever, and it's full, and everybody comes, takes a cup, takes a cup, takes a cup. I was a Nigerian who now went there and thought, we're used to house helps and people doing things for us. We don't understand that there's a DIY culture here, and you have to think of the next person that's coming behind you. So I took, I took a cup of, I went to the kettle, took a bit of the hot water, poured it in my cup. What was left was just so tiny, couldn't even make a cup of cappuccino or what's that tiny coffee. And I just dropped the kettle. I went to sit down. In my head, I'm thinking, and whoever filled it before will come back and fill it because there's a fairy that fills the kettle or something like that. The way one of the teachers got up from where she was, she left her sandwich. She walked straight to the kettle, filled it up, plugged it in, went back to sit down. I was almost like, oh God, oh my God. She didn't need to say anything. Her actions were like 1,000 words. And it's the same thing that translates into the classroom. Some things that they see as common sense. It's not in our culture. And the only way to get across this, I don't know. Ladies, what do you think would be the first thing that anybody needs to know? This is just kettle, and we're not even talking about the teaching. Oh my God.
That's I had a student. I made a comment one day and I said, "Oh, common sense." And the boy said to me, "There's no means there's nothing like common sense. I'll choose to call it uncommon uncommon sense because I mean
Common sense is not common.
they would think that you should know to do this, but I mean, yeah, it is what it is. That's where cultural difference comes in. So that's I mean that video from last week kind of feeds into this week's video, being aware of your environment. Like when you go into somewhere, you need to observe how things are done and then follow suit. When it comes to teaching, your personality also plays a big role. If you're that kind of person who doesn't want people in your space, you don't like collaborating, I mean you're not please leave me, I don't want stress, I don't feel like talking, all that, or you're not very good at public speaking. Because one thing I've realized with international schools is that sometimes you're put on the spot, like maybe during meetings and all that. Everyone is expected to speak. You're not the one who would say that you're not going to add into the conversation. And the question being thrown out might be something you didn't prepare for, right? And it goes round. So everyone gets the opportunity to speak during those meetings. So you should be someone who is able to express themselves articulately. One, everyone is a work in progress. You don't have to start out being there, but being having a growth mindset and being eager to learn and see, that is one thing. A teacher is always a lifelong learner. As a teacher, you never stop learning. So if you're that person who is saying, I'm tired of studying. I can't read. I feel at this point in my life I'm not ready to, take a course or do something. Then rethink teaching. If you're the kind of person who doesn't who will not look beyond people's attitude and be able to interact with someone who you don't like this person, but then you have to find a way to be professional and be able to interact with them during work, because that person could be your TA and you hate their guts, but then you have to work with this person. So you you have to be someone who is adaptable as well. There are lots of skills. I don't want to name everything at once. And then if you're someone that cannot
Once.
work under pressure, I know we always say we can work under pressure on CVs, but when it comes to teaching, report writing, it could be pressure from parents, it could be pressure from your boss. The pressure never stops until the end of the school year. And that is why you see that towards the end of the year, teachers are
Dead.
looking forward to that next holiday. Yes, so I think I'll I'll stop it here for now.
Do you know what, guys? We are let's rip the band-aid off. When you came into teaching in the UK, was there someone telling you all these things? Did anybody call you and say, "Oh, come, let me show you"? In fact, the people who knew will not even tell you
Yeah.
You're
because
hired.
Yeah.
they feel because they
Yeah.
suffered, you have to suffer too.
Yes. Yes.
Do you
Thank
mean
you.
the
Thank you
Do you
so
mean the
much. I didn't
Nigerians, or
know.
do you mean the Nigerians? Is that what are those people you're referring to?
Anybody? Was there
Okay.
anybody who helped you? Nobody helped me. I used to cry every night.
Except
But
for me, I had the grace of the lady that introduced me into teaching, and bless her. I always talk about her here on my channel. Bless her, because she's her
let's shout
type
out
is
to her.
rare. When I came in, yeah. Shout out to Fatima. She was the one that introduced me to her. That said, "Oh, you have a master's in education. Why are you here?" I was in a mental care home. "Why are you here? Go into teaching. You can use a certificate." And then she introduced me to the other lady that introduced me to teaching. So I'll say thank you to her. And
Thank you.
meanwhile, going in for my first day, I said it on my channel. I went in like blank. I searched YouTube for videos. There was nothing relating to like my first day as a supply teacher. That was why I created that video of your first day as a supply teacher. If you have not watched that, you can go and watch it. Whereby I talk about from the reception to what you're going to do. Assuming I had the opportunity to watch that video, it would have still be better. My day would have been better. I went, when you go in blank, you don't know what you're going to do. Your agency, the agency I started with didn't give me any orientation, nothing at all. You just go to the school so that they can get paid, and then you get your pay. So my
Yeah.
first day was, and then about what Jay said, I'll just mention it a bit, because we are going to drop a video soon on that, about some people you are going to meet here, and then they will not even want
Yes,
to, just like they said, they want you to suffer because they suffered, which is not right. That is why we ladies are here on our channel to talk about it. Some people feel this YouTube channel, okay, it's because they are making money. That's why we are doing it.
money,
Yeah, some
money.
people feel that they're making money. That's why they're here. They're here talking for 1 hour every Sunday, which is no. The reason why is because we went through that, and we don't want others to go through that. You should have a
No,
knowledge of what this entails. So there are some people you will meet. I met one, and in fact, I didn't talk much with that guy. I just left the scenario because I don't like those with that kind of energy. I remember I went to a school last year. I was posted there constantly, and then the guy saw me. Some Nigerians who want to. It's not only Nigerians.
it's not
I've
only
met
Nigerians.
not only
No, it's
Nigerians,
not
but
only
I've met
Nigerians.
other people that can do that from other
Yeah.
countries. So there are some people that will want to let you know they have been in this job for a while. They want to. So he was like, "Oh, when did you start teaching in the UK?" So I told him I started, I think, about a year ago. That was last year. So it was like, "Oh, so you people are now hearing information about this thing."
Can you imagine?
I was
Meanwhile,
like, "Oh,
sorry, go on.
yeah, you can
Meanwhile,
continue."
if you look at the teaching standards, section 9, It talks about the professionalism of teaching, how you need to show, you need to disseminate information among. Was he not looking at his teaching? Do you know what that teaching practice is like? I've that teaching standard. I've stuck it to my brain, and I try to practice it. And I know you guys practice it too. That's why we are here together. Because look at how we met. Look at the way we met, and look at people look at us today and they think that we've known each other for years. For goodness sake, to even go to the point where some people will come to me, then they will go to you, then they will go to Oyin, as if they're trying to knock our heads together. And I'm thinking, do you know the profession you're in? That's not. This is not what we bring to this profession. This profession is not for that. Take your venom and take it away. We are trying to build. We are healers. We help. Helpers don't do that. Take that away from here. And that's the kind of thing that people don't know. And that's why they don't want to share information. And it pains me because why would you not want to share information? You see someone who was a teacher in a factory, you won't help. Or you tell them your story, please, because tell them your. I know you have your own story too about the person who was like you. Let me let you speak.
In my own situation, I didn't really, like mommy said, her first day was a bit strange. I had already worked at an international school before coming here. So like 80% of my colleagues were Americans, right? So to some extent, although America is different from the UK, I mean, those people there, Americans are more, they give it to you just, but why
In
UK
your face.
they have this passive attitude, right? So, but I already understood what supply teaching was. In the American school, we call it substitute teaching. So I had also worked with substitute. I had substitute teachers come into my classroom. So I also had a TA while working back home, and we did lots of trainings. So I understood when it comes to work ethics and the way to carry yourself and relate to colleagues in the work environment. I understood that. But in terms of sharing, so I started my career as a teaching assistant, right? And at the point why when I was a teaching assistant, I had people who were already teachers in that same organization. But one thing I noticed with Nigerians, they will never give you information. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. But I was still able to get there. And that is why, like we always say in Nigerian lay back language, God pass them.
Yes, oh.
So, and it's Omomi said people are making money from YouTube. That's it's very funny. We take time out of our busy schedules to come here just because we want to make it easier for people coming, ahead of us. Yeah, so it's nobody's paid for anything. People do not also watch these videos because I see people coming to my DM, sending messages on WhatsApp, and you can tell from your interaction with them that these people haven't taken time to go through the information that has been put out there. If we're putting out information out there and you're not checking this information and then coming behind, what then is the point of this 1 hour we spend here every Sunday? The resources being put out here are enough for you to some extent get started, and then you can drop your comments in the comment section, and please be polite while doing these things. That is another thing. If you have an attitude, please forget about teaching abroad, because
In
sometimes
fact,
you just have to swallow certain things. You know what fight to take, and it's even more painful when it is coming from children that are younger than your kids at home. So your colleagues will give it to you, the environment will give it to you, even the children you teach will give it to you. So if you're that person that is like, I can't take this, like based on your personality, there are certain things you cannot tolerate. Your tolerance threshold, let me put it that way, is not very high.
A
Then
no
you should
nonsense person.
reconsider that option to come here to teach.
it was in that video yesterday, that Omomi's video, when Gideon said, "In fact, where is Gideon? Please, Gideon, if you're watching this," Gideon said, "If in Nigeria, in the UK, and it's the same thing in the diaspora, you're strict, and then you're soft. You're strict, and then you're fun. It's a
Balance.
balance. How many times have we mentioned balance on this channel? on this our life. It's a balance. Relating with your TA is a balance. Relating with the people you work with, it's a balance. Don't say too much, but also try and it's all a balance. But some people in our where we come from, let me not name, it's like the child is a nail and they are hammers. So they have to hammer it down. They have to be so strict to the point where and then someone said in the comment section that did you not know behavior management? Do you know what? Do you know how many times I watched that thing? I watched that video, so I even thought, do you know what? I'm not watching it on my iPad anymore. I'm going to bring the TV so that I can see it in HD, 4K. I was like, yes, please, let's say this. Because if we had found videos like this when we started, our lives would be so much easier. If I'm going to a place, there's a YouTuber who has she's in Australia. I can't Choma. I know sometimes you watch my videos, so if you're watching this, we're dragging you here next. Choma said something. She said when she went to Australia, she wanted to know how much houses cost. She wanted to know cost of living. She wanted to know who is doing what, where to get what. And some people were on her channel telling her, oh, because you've gone to Australia, you don't want people to come. That's why you're telling them all this to discourage them. No, it's not about discouraging them. It's about telling you when you're coming, there's a landmine. Put your foot here, put your foot here, put your foot here. There's a landmine here. So know how you will walk through the landmine so that you will get there. It's not about scaring you guys. I remember our first live when we're talking about what to expect, a lot of people said we're trying to scare them. We're not trying to scare you. We're trying to prepare you so that you are a soldier when you come here. When you enter into the classroom, you know that you need to collect your lanyard. You know that you need to get there early. Gideon said something else. He said he got there because he thought there was an see. I'm giving it to you because I wrote it down. He said he got there at 7:55, and immediately I put my hand on my head. You are late. If they tell you to be there at 7:30, or sorry, 8:30, you'll be there at 8 o'clock,
8 o'clock.
because you need to drink coffee. You need to set up your classroom. If they want you to be, if it says start at 8:30, you don't go there at 8:30. He thought, oh, in Nigeria, there's assembly first.
Assembly, yes.
Are you in Nigeria? You're not in Nigeria. It's a different culture. They don't do assemblies in the morning. So when there are three women giving up their time on Sunday evenings like this, trying to prepare you, if they tell you to be there at 8:30, I will be there at 7:30. My children will be at breakfast club. I will be there at 7:30. I will drink my coffee. I will do my photocopies. I will set my classroom. I'll put music. I will have a chilled out time, soft music, so that when the children are coming in, I finish sipping. I don't drink coffee. I drink tea. But you know what I mean. I would have finished sipping, and I would have had a little bit of a chat with the staff, because you still have to make an impression. If you come in at 7:55, you are sweating, sweat is pouring down your arm. Even the children are looking at you and going, yuck, what is that? Where is the composure? And you consistently come late because time, guys, let's talk about timekeeping. Oh my God.
Time management is a
Time
big
management.
it's a big thing, because even with your report writing, you don't procrastinate, because there's a timeline. You don't just do the report and send it out. It has to be vetted. And there are timelines for when it should be ready for the first vetting. Like where I worked, your colleagues have to vet first.
Yes,
And
yes.
then after your colleagues are done vetting,
Then you
before
send it to the
you now send it off. So there's a timeline for everything. In terms of teaching, there's a timeline. And back home when you just copy notes on the board and then go and sit down on your chair and then allow the kids to, it's like as a teacher in Nigeria, I had so much time as a teacher in Nigeria. I had so much time
hey,
to do personal things. You could even be on your phone, right? But you can't be on because the children will even say to their parents at home. So
yes,
kids here, they talk. They'll say to their parents at home, you can't be on your phone. Number one, I learned while working at international schools that as long as there's a student in the class, you have no business sitting on your table. So I was doing early childhood. So I don't sit on my table except when the kids go for specials. So specials is like those subjects that I don't teach them.
Yes, like PE,
We have,
music.
yeah, exactly. We have to take them for PE, music, art. So when they leave for those subjects, that's the only time I have a business with my chair.
Yeah.
As long as the students are around, I need to be going around. They need to be attended to. I have no business being on my phone, right? This is something, I mean, someone coming, it might seem like a simple thing, but someone coming straight from a Nigerian classroom might not understand this. So there are lots of differences. And there's this thing with, in Nigeria, sorry to digress from time management, we have this thing with just say it as I'm that kind of person that says things as they are. Here, it's not wisdom
Mm.
to say things as they are.
No.
You need to chew your words, like filter.
Swallow.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. Think about what you're saying. Think about the repercussion of what you're saying. Even when giving information about, oh, a parent comes to pick their child and you're like, that this child has not been, she has just been everywhere. That's the way we would report things back home. You
Hmm.
need to think about what you're saying before anything comes out from your mouth. And even if it's your principal or your colleague you're saying it to, they're going to say it exactly how you said it.
Yes.
So you need to be
Mm.
mindful of that saying things as they are is not wisdom at
Hmm.
all. You need to be able to,
Yeah.
filter things.
This one, oh yeah, go please go back to time management because this time management is a big thing for me. You know what? When I taught in Norway, Norwegians believe that you are either early or you are late. You are never on time. There's nothing like you being on time. So being early for Norway is that you're 30 minutes before the time you're supposed to be there. Then you're okay. If you are not going to come, you have to tell them at least an hour or two before if you're supposed to resume at 8:30, you don't call your line management at 8:20 to say I won't be at school today, I have a headache. No, because they need time to call up the supply
Supply
teacher. And
chain.
so when you wake up at 5:30, you feel this headache, I can't shake it. You call immediately, don't leave it to the last minute. Oh, where is Gideon?
I was laughing because I remembered something. So an event was scheduled, and
Yes,
this person, so event was supposed to last for an hour or so, or they didn't give a timeline. I don't think they give a timeline
that's
for
even
the end of
worse.
the
That's
event,
the
right?
worst one.
So they just gave a time for the start. By the time this person got here, everywhere had been cleared up. Like
Yeah.
there was nobody. So if it's 3 o'clock, it's 3 o'clock. It's even as bad as when we have parent teacher meetings, those partnership conferences,
They give you time slots.
everyone doesn't come in at the same time. Back
No.
home, you just come when you feel like. You need to pick a time slot. And if it's a 15 minutes time slot, you rather just make sure that you're there before the time, sitting and waiting for your time slot.
Yeah,
Because
because
once that 15 minutes is over, your time is gone. Nobody's giving you any extra time for anything. That's as a parent now. So imagine what it will be for you as a teacher. You need to be in your room as early as possible, like Jay said, to set up your classroom. Most schools are technology schools. You need to be sure that your smart board is working, the projector is working. You need to be sure that, in fact, the things you need to teach for tomorrow need to have been set up the day before. So before you leave the school,
you
for
set up your class.
that set up your classroom, I prefer to even print out my sheets.
Yeah,
The morning sheet, I can leave afternoon for later, but I plan my worksheet for the whole week on Friday afternoon.
yeah,
Then I have somewhere where I put them for Monday. I label it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like that, all the way to Friday. Mornings, if you need worksheets in the morning, you put them out before you go home. Like you're working with
time.
time management is a big thing.
Hmm.
And then your lessons will not spill over.
No,
If your lesson is 35 minutes,
it's
know
35
to
Mm.
minutes.
manage your lesson because when they come to observe you, they are checking your your mini lesson. How long did it take you to walk in the whole group on the carpet? If you're doing rotations in small groups, you time your small groups. I always have a timer in my room. You time your
Yes.
small groups if you're rotating, right? 15, 15, like everything has to be on point.
Clockwork.
If the calendar says that your schedule says you're supposed to be having math, let's assume you spill over your literacy morning class and then your supervisor walks into your classroom, checks your schedule, and you're supposed to be having math, and what you're doing is literacy. That's another question you need to answer. So
Yes, it
classroom
means you can't
management,
manage your time.
yeah, time management is a big thing. Is a big thing.
And it brings me to another thing. Because you can't manage your time, behavior management will be crazy in that class. Because these children are not conditioned like the children back home to sit down, don't talk, listen to your teacher, don't breathe, don't respect. I love it. Our culture has respect, but sometimes it doesn't help, especially in the classroom. Because, for instance, your I used to calculate the attention span of the children, their age minus two. So if I'm teaching 5 year olds, I cannot talk for more than 3 minutes. I cannot. Their age minus two. If I'm teaching 7 year olds, 5 minutes talk. That's it on the carpet.
Yeah,
That means I've introduced, I've hooked, I've laughed, we have gisted.
everything. 5 minutes.
Everybody move to the
Boom.
next thing.
Everyone is off.
Boom, 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 boom. The whole so I might bring them back to the classroom, to the carpet to say, okay, so tell me, what were we doing today? Then I'm trying to check for assessment. Are they really understanding this lesson? So, guys, come, leave what you're doing, come back to the carpet. What is it? Tell me, what are we doing today? Then one will say, I don't know, miss. Then I know that that lesson, it did not enter. It entered one ear and left out of the other ear. Why? Because it's a child-centered lesson. If the children are not following,
Yeah, there's
you
no
have
point.
not taught. You have wasted their day. And that time management thing comes into it. You should be able to deliver a high impact lesson in as little time as possible and give the children the chance to practice it. They don't bring books here. It was another thing Gideon said yet. Oh, somebody,
And they don't bring books.
somebody should take this up. Let me breathe a little. Where is he? Oh Lord.
Even sincerely, I've sent him a message. As if he had replied, I would tell him to join, but he hasn't.
Whew. He gave it to us hot yesterday, and
I
I was
think
like,
I think he needs to be the one. He needs to be here next week because, like, coming from us is not. It won't
we
carry
don't
us
know.
weight.
Yes, because we were in
Carry us much weight.
international schools.
Yes,
But
like for
he's
me,
coming
I've been
from
in an international school. I imagine how different my experience would have been if I'd come straight from a Nigerian school. I would have been
exactly.
Just
lost.
like me.
Yeah, I would have been completely lost.
I
Yes, so
tried I tried to touch on that topic on my channel, but I thought, am I really the right person to say this? I know it exists, but am I really the right person to say this? Because I do not have the experience to compare it with on the other side. I know the experience here, but not the experience on the other side. So when I went on Mommy's channel, and I saw it. I was like, yes, she has this. This is what I'll say, and it was so eloquently done because we did not diminish the greatness of Nigeria. She did not run Nigeria down. She only exposed something that everybody needs to think about, because in thinking about something, then there's progress. If we pretend it doesn't happen, it's the white elephant in the room. We know it's there, but we prefer not to talk about it. Then it will never be solved. But when you talk about it, especially when you do it in a beautiful way where you are you have balance, your argument is robust. He said it. He said, I'm not diminishing what they have over there. The children are very respectful, the children are very this, but it leaves room for exploitation, it leaves room for neglect, it leaves room to leave those stragglers behind. The children who cannot meet the teacher who is teaching at a higher than their that is teaching at a level that is higher than them, they can't, because when I was at school, one of my teachers called me Olodo one time. I was like, huh, what is that? But that's a teacher in the class telling me that I'm not good enough, and it was fine for her to say it, and everybody would laugh. So even if I asked a question, is Olodo talking? So don't
yeah,
regard
imagine what it would do to one's
my psyche.
self-esteem, your
Exactly.
psyche. You just believe I'm not good enough, even when you have
Exactly.
you're a lion and you have something, a lot to offer.
Inside of me.
The teacher is
Exactly.
meant to be someone who will model, like shape you into, encourage you, support you, let you know that okay, you might be struggling, but let me try it different. Is your job as a teacher. If the child is a failure, I feel you as a teacher are also, you are a failure. That's
Exactly.
that's the way I see it. Because
That's
if
a
the
good
child
one.
is struggling, it's your job to come through for them. Why is the
That
child struggling? What can I do to give this child the help and support they need to excel? Their
hmm,
goal is for you to excel. Remember, when we're in the university, it's not even only primary school. A lecturer
no.
will come into the room and tell you A is for me, B is for
And
the school, and C
yes,
is for you. Then it's
yes,
not like no matter what you do, no matter how
I'm
hard
not
you
going to
try,
reach.
you can never reach it. Like, and it was something for them to brag about.
But you see, in our culture, it's okay for him to say that.
Yes, it's
Say
okay.
it here.
It's okay, but
The gun.
in the
They're
culture, but
gone.
the effect it has on, and that's why it
They're
seems like
gone.
when kids come over here and get a little bit of that support, it's like they really
They
excel.
excel.
They really
They
excel because
blow. They blow.
teaching is not for everyone. Honestly, teaching is not for, if you're not patient, if you're not empathic. I remember sharing when I learned French. So in this my old age, I decided to go and learn French. That was it last year? And then I was in the same classroom with students that just finished secondary school, that just finished university. Their French was still fresh
And they
in
were
their
teaching
head.
you all at the
And
same
the teacher
level.
just went on teaching us all at the same level. I was so frustrated.
What
So
happened to differentiation of
what
teaching?
I drew from that thing is it made me understand the need for differentiation even more, right? Because their kids are struggling. How do you help them? How do you help them? That's the main thing.
Does this happen to you guys? You draw up your lesson plan. And lesson plan is in fact it's two live sessions. Let's leave that one to the side now. But you draw up your lesson plan and you go into the classroom. You're doing AFL, assessment for learning. That is, you're asking them while they're, for those who don't know what AFL is. It's when you stand in front of the class, you've delivered your lesson, you've delivered your hook, you've engaged the children, and you're about to send them off to the chair to their sessions to do their work. But you want to check if what you've said for the past 5 minutes really entered. So you ask quick questions like hot potato. Two times, just quick questions, and for some children, you need to slow down. For
Mm,
some children, you need to give it to them hot, hot. But it's
mm,
in the way you dance. It's like a dance in the classroom. It's like a tango in the classroom. You know the one that you slow down. You know the one you do it fast and all these kind
mm.
of things. And in doing that, you're able to carry the children along and everything. But how many does it happen to you that when you do that, you now realize that what you prepared for one of the groups is not adequate? Has that ever happened to you? Because
Yeah,
you were
many times.
you thought, okay, from everything we've done so far, this is what they can do. But then you get there and you realize, oh, okay, I need to slow it down a little bit more because I thought they knew more than they did.
Or
Oh, I need
maybe you realize that maybe while even checking on them, that what you gave them was too easy, way too easy. And you
exactly.
know that classroom management issues will come up. If it's too easy, they finish on time
They
and they have
finish and they disturb the class, and
one
nobody will come and say,
message.
"Go and sit down there. Put your
Yeah.
hand up. Close your eyes."
You know, one thing I always did was to always have an extra activity planned. And that
This
would be
is what
like
I'm saying.
an activity that does not require any
You being
adult,
there,
right?
yes,
It's something that students can do on their own.
yes,
I always have that planned out. So when you finish on time, is it that I
yeah.
challenge you more to say, based on what I've given you, as okay, could you do this just to chat? Oh, I know you're really good at this. You
It
know?
could be something with their hands, so
Yeah,
that
just
now they've
challenge
used
you.
their brain, they've used their eyes, their ears. Okay,
Exactly.
now put it together with your hands. It could be a
Yeah.
puzzle, but then you're, do you know what? Oh,
The
okay,
lessons never go. What I know is most times lessons never go as planned. It could be technology that messes up. It could be
exactly.
that the lesson is too easy for the kids. It could be that you realize that, oh, the kids didn't get the previous one. And that's why your flexibility and your knowledge, you need to be knowledgeable in that area, and then you need to be flexible, because then if you're sticking to worksheets alone, for instance, it's
Ah,
possible you don't have the worksheets for the next thing you want to teach them.
oh my
So you
lord.
need to be able to look around your environment and know what it could be, even taking the kids outdoors.
I go outdoors.
I
Oh
so
Lord.
your brain has to be like in the bathroom. I remember most times in the bathroom.
When
Yeah.
you're under the
So
shower in the morning, washing your hair. Ah, it's true. Oh.
you
I can
remember
go to
that,
that.
oh, I think I need to go tweak that lesson plan and put this for this person. So your brain has to be always working, and then you need to be very adaptable and flexible as a teacher.
So, as Maomi said, all this comes to being patient and then knowing how to multitask. Because
Mm,
here I can see one question here saying the annoying part is that no one sees that it is adults bullying children in Nigeria and it is wrong. Over
Mhm.
here, they will just take the job for you. They will say, thank you very much, but no thanks. You can go. Let's find somebody else. They won't even mince words. So, can you imagine if you're on a visa
mm.
and that job was what you got your visa for?
It's all gone. That's it.
Then we'll see you on BBC and ITV. Ah, this person is sleeping on the bus, so no shift, no job. And then Janet and Onya and Omawumi will be running around trying to, because we want to wear our cape. You know, teachers are here. They say not all heroes wear capes. We were here. Our imaginary cape is on our shoulder because every evening on Sunday we are here trying to make sure that people don't jump into the same potholes that we jumped into. Someone also
Yeah.
said something about, is it all teachers who write? Is it only supply teachers who write reports? My darling, you will write reports.
In fact,
Everybody
supply
writes
teachers
reports.
report for supply teachers is the easiest because you just write report about your class for the teacher you have covered for. That's it. But for permanent teaching role, you will write reports. You.
For the past 2 weeks, I've been so inconsistent with my YouTube because it is report writing time. Oh yeah, and mommy they said, Ajana, did you fall off the face of the earth? I'm like, I didn't fall off the face of the earth. It's reports. As soon as I say it's report writing season, you're like, okay, sorry. They didn't even bother chatting me again to a point where I thought, have people forgotten me? Are these people forgetting me? I'm still here. I'm breathing. Sorry, it's just reports. You write
There's,
reports. If
there's
you're
a
an early
comment.
years teacher, you write reports every single day because of your observation. If you're an early years teacher, get ready. You have tapestry, you have classroom monitor. There's so many assessment software that they will throw at you. So if you're an early years teacher, I can see Olaiton. Olaiton, my darling. Yes, early years teacher, tapestry is waiting for you. You
There's a comment you need to from Madam Bukola Oye Banji. She
uh-huh.
said, you're really doing an amazing, well done. Does what you're saying only apply to primary school?
No, everybody writes reports. It's just that when you start going higher in fact, the people who write the most reports early years, unfortunately, they write reports. If the child coughed, the child can use his right hand now. The child can jump now. You have to write reports and you have to put 3 pieces of evidence to show that the child can really do it. That's their own report, and you do it for every single objective. In primary you do the same thing, but it's not as frequent. You do it like every 6 weeks. We write reports in international schools. How often do you write reports, Oye?
We do 4 times. So we have two progress reports and then two reports, the normal reports in a term. So that's four.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
Okay.
for here, I noticed with early childhood, like you're reporting, did you say like almost every minute of the day? Because
Yes, that's what I say, every day,
when they
every
eat, you have to write what they've eaten,
yes. If
what
you
you
went
gave
to
them,
toilet,
what portion they ate, and what
mhm.
portion they didn't eat.
If you can blink with one eye, but you can't blink with the second eye,
Yes, like
you write
they're
it.
now moving around. They're now interacting. Oh, today they said this that they've not been
Yes,
saying before. Like
you can
you have to
interact. You
always,
have friends.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but when you get to secondary, mommy, how much reporting do you do? I know you guys are the easy ones now. It's easier. It doesn't mean it's easy. Sorry, it's easier.
Well,
In terms of reporting,
permanent-
right?
for the permanent teachers, I wouldn't know. But for supply, we do every day because you have to write a report for the teacher you have covered for. How the class went. Was it good? Was there any? Did you give anyone detention? Was the
Exactly.
class okay? Were you able to complete? Were you able to complete the lesson? Because at first, I could remember when Jay said, no, it was only that said you have to complete your lesson about time management. When I
Yes.
started, I couldn't complete the lesson. Yes, those were the challenges I faced. I could not because the time management was not there. You know, in Nigeria, you can even tell your student. I mean, in some schools, let me use it. You can even tell your students to go and copy from the next class if you do not finish that particular. Yes, you say okay, copy from SS2B. You can copy notes from there just to, but that is not done here. So that is
Wait,
where the
oh,
time management comes in.
yeah, and
She
sorry, I
said
wanted to add for Bukola. If aside what Jay and Mommy just talked about, every other thing in terms of the standards, the best practices you should follow as a teacher is the same thing all round. So the expectation, the same thing for all round in terms of how you relate with the children, how you carry yourself in the workplace and all that is generally the same thing. There's a lot of things that are
yeah,
not acceptable here that
yeah,
nobody will really pay much attention to back home.
yeah.
And I
And I
would
want to
stop it.
finish.
Yeah, I think if you're coming in here and you're not a student, for instance, maybe you have a spouse, it will be helpful for you to start out going in as a teaching assistant
Yeah,
because what that helps you do, or if you're volunteering, so you're not the lead person in the room,
yeah,
Yes.
you're not the lead person, so
You
you're
are
able to
watching.
observe, or you're able to observe, and that's one of the best ways to learn. You're observing not just what they are doing, but listen to the language, how they are interacting,
How they
right?
are reporting.
Yeah, how do they report? How do they talk to kids? How do they relate with themselves? Those things are things you need to, and we are very loud. Nigerians, we are loud, we're everywhere. How to comport yourself is another thing. So all those things, you listen, you watch, you listen, you learn. And then when you feel you're comfortable, you can then, begin to do supply teaching roles. Just start out as a TA so that you have a soft landing because it's
To
a
take.
lot to take in at once.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Someone here said, I write every 6 weeks as a primary teacher, but I have weekly reports which must go home at weekends. Yes, we have Friday journals where you want to keep the parents up to date so that when Ofsted comes, Jesus Christ, you guys, we have to talk about Ofsted. So that when Ofsted comes, they will not say the parents don't know what you are doing at school. No, no, we send them weekly. It's like a weekly what we've done this week, kind of bringing you up to date, kind of. So yes, I don't like writing reports really. Darling,
Nobody does. Nobody
not
does.
neither do we.
Nobody does.
We do not, but we
in
have
fact,
to.
there was a time I went in for supply. There was a report writing. There was a time I went in for supply. In fact, it was when I started, and then is where it comes in about what Oyin said earlier about you writing. You should filter what you would write. That just came in. I had that experience with care actually. That just came in. The students in my class had a fight. Like one wanted to, they had a fight, and then the principal had to come in. After that, in Nigeria, it's done. They'll say what happened. They might take them away, probably give them punishment, and that's it. So in my mind, I was
Here,
like, okay, they've handled it. That's fine.
no,
Later, I think about some minutes later, then the principal came back and then said, "Oh, Miss, you have to write a report about
you
what
have to
happened."
write
I
a
was
report, a detailed one.
like, okay. Yeah, they gave me a long, a long piece of paper to write the report. They gave me a
Yeah,
pen in case you don't have a pen. They gave me a
the
pen
time
to
it
write the report,
happened.
the long
Yeah, time it
time,
happened.
what happened, how it happened.
What each
If you
person
were
said.
probably because that particular. Yeah, exactly. If you were not probably paying attention, because at that particular time I was teaching, I was with other students because you have to go around just like Oyin said, and probably you were not detailed of what happened. Don't say what you don't know. Don't say or don't
No.
feel or imagine this was what this might be, or that was what happened. So I just wrote what happened, what I saw exactly, because the students, one was like, oh, it was the one that did this, oh, it was the one, like, then they were arguing about that. So I just wrote what happened, and the principal took it away, and that was it. So
And that
just
was it.
write
Up
what
your
you
hand.
know exactly. So for report writing, it happens. Let me just say it happens every day, because anything can happen in
Every
your class.
day.
Yeah,
Even the one that
anything.
has in when they hurt themselves when they go to break, you still have to write down one down.
Yes, yes,
I was
that's
playing
it.
outside, I hurt my knee.
Yeah.
Write it down. So that
The
so
reports
that
we
when the
even
parents
the
call,
reports we go back with the students, because even my kids get reports, especially my son. With boys they
yeah,
play. Yes, report probably when if he fell in school, or probably hurt
yeah.
himself, he'll get a report back home.
Now for college, they don't have as much. It's less, but they still write reports. They
Yeah,
still
they
write
do.
reports.
They do.
In
I have
college.
a friend that works in the college. They do. In fact, they write every day.
Yeah. So Olaiton says absolutely for early years is bumper to bumper report writing. Oh my goodness. I remember my days as an LES teacher. My whole life was about writing to the point where you know the child more than the parents self. You're always writing. Someone said, please, how does one with a teaching license in Nigeria get into the teaching profession in the UK or USA? Mostly when your subject is taught, is in subject
Mm.
is taught is in humanities. We have it on our different channels. Oyin has how to get the teaching qualification. I have Mommy and I, we have so many things. So just get into that. You have a lot to watch because we are trying to make sure that you guys, we are throwing the light on every single corner. There are some things we cannot say because we are being very respectful, but we'll find a way to say it because you still have to know. Wait, this safeguarding thing, are we going to talk about it? I know it's a very sensitive issue, but I want to talk about it.
Shoot.
Safeguarding is not just when children have problems outside of school and then they tell you. No, you can be a safeguarding risk to the child in the classroom.
I like the way you said it.
I've been thinking, how am I going to put this out? But one way or the other, we have to put it out. Sometimes you might not know because you are from a different culture that this culture, what you are doing, touching the child is safeguarding risk. Not answering the child's question every time the child puts his hand up is discriminatory. Hey God. Oh, Ndiocha.
And
I've
the
come,
students will even tell you to your face that
yeah,
you've been telling, or probably you're just on one child's name. Oh, Wumi. I'm using my name. I don't want to mention
yeah,
anybody's name. Wumi, you've
of course.
been doing that. 5 minutes, Wumi, you've been doing that. 5 minutes later, Wumi, well, oh, the child will go on and say, why am I the only one you calling my name? Other
No,
people are also doing
picking on
something else.
me, yes. Other kids
Yeah.
are doing it, but you're not saying anything.
And some of the other children in the classroom will say you are being prejudiced, biased. But
Mm.
you know how in Nigeria, teachers always have teachers' pets. Hey, here you can't have teachers, you can't have student that is your pet. Oh.
They will even
No,
ask you, Miss, am I your favorite? I don't have a favorite.
I don't have a favorite. Those children can put people in trouble, safe. But yes, safeguarding not only goes to, and you might be surprised, you might think that your colleagues are not noticing. They will
Mm.
report you. They will write a form called cause for concern.
Yeah.
5 minutes silence for that. Five
Um,
minutes silence for that. Cause for concern.
my
Another teacher,
regulation plenty.
they will say every time they walk past your class, they notice that one child is always in the class and he's not participating, and you can't notice
Mm.
that they feel that that child is being neglected. The person is not in your class. The
Mm.
person is just passing. But she will tell you the number of times she has walked, or he will tell you the number of times they've walked past your classroom. And they've noticed that you don't notice that child. They notice, so how come you're not noticing, and what have you done? They first of all bring it as if they're asking, as if, you know. they are being concerned, but they filled cause for concern form. Like Gideon said yesterday, they will laugh with you, they will smile with you, but they will get you rid of
Oh,
you.
it's nothing to worry about. It's okay. No, na
Okay,
lie.
I've done
It's
it.
a lie.
It's happened to me too.
No, 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 no. Oh, I'm fine. No, it's okay. It's okay. That's the British. This or like Americans will be like, they need to understand why this is going that way.
Yeah, because they're more they're more direct.
Oh,
They will
oh,
say it
oh, it's
to your
okay.
face,
No,
you
not
know.
nothing to worry about. Not nothing to worry about.
Oh, don't worry about that. Don't worry.
Worry, worry, big
Worry.
time.
Because like we said before, you need to work as if your left hand will report your right hand. Mm. So yeah. And someone said just binge watch all their chat. Let me put it here. Sorry. Just binge
Oh, you
watch
skip
all their
one.
channels,
Skip
then
one.
prepare for
Hey, you
CPDs.
skip one. Emmanuel is not going to be happy with you.
I skip one.
Yeah, you
Cause
had him
for
on and
concern.
took him off. He's not going to.
Cause
Yes.
for concern. Do you see how easily you might not know you've not done it maliciously, but someone else has noticed it, and once another pair of eyes has seen it. Hello, dear teachers. Well done, oh. Thank you. Oh. You guys are just amazing. I'm a science teacher from Cameroon. Hola. No. Bonjour. Bonsoir. Please, can any of you help me out with my resume? Please, oh, I need assistance. We can all help you, but please don't go to all three of us at the same time. That's something that we talked about at the beginning of this. If you're going to Mommy, go to Mommy. We work together. We've had ch- cases of people, they send it to Mommy. Mommy corrects it, sends it back. Then they send it to Oyin. Oyin corrects it and sends it. Then they bring it to me. That's not professional. If you work in a school and you do that, you are setting people's backs off. You see us on this channel every Sunday. You should know that there's a bond. You cannot. So I should correct what both of them have done. It's impossible. Please let's start learning how to work and recognize teams. We've said it before, even if you do not like your TA, you have to learn to work with your TA and understand body language and professional courtesy. So, yes, Emmanuel, you can choose any one of us and go to that one person. Okay? Thank you. We're very happy to help you. We want more people like us in the profession, but we do not want you to get us to work against each other. Because if I correct what Mommy has done, it means that I'm saying Mommy can't do a good job. That's not right. We don't do that. Okay? Right. First timer here, please drop your channel links. Who's this? Bukola, you are definitely watching it from one channel. We're streaming to 3 channels. So wherever you're watching it from, click the like and subscribe now because that's the channel that you're watching it from. And there's no link, there's no other link that you need apart from where you're watching it from. Thanks. Um, Please, as a supply teacher, will they give you time to prepare your plan and note when you are called that morning to cover for an absent teacher that just called the school that morning? Wow, no punctuation here. I can't read. Please, as a supply teacher, will they give you time to prepare your plan and note? What note? Children here don't have notes. They don't copy notes. Children here do not copy notes. My cousin's son is in primary 5 and he said he had notes to read because he had exam. Even college, they don't copy notes. If they have notes, it's because they are taking notes down from what the teacher is saying. You don't give them notes. If you are giving a child notes to go and sift information from it, it means that you cannot sift information and project to children. And your job will be, yeah. When you are called that morning to cover for an absent teacher, if you're called, they always give you, I think an hour's notice. Mommy, is it up to
No,
an hour?
Oh,
no.
no, no,
Don't
no.
plan for supply teachers if you're on a long term, even if you're a long or short term, you're not going to plan your lesson. Your probably head of science or one of the permanent teachers will plan the lesson for you. and the PowerPoint and everything. You're just going in to teach. If you're on a long term, you have to stay back after school hours to prepare for the following day. Because if you're a science supply just like me, you might have practicals and you have to do it. You have to read, you have to search. But if you're on a day to day, you're going in as cover. So you're just going to
Mhm.
cover for the person's lesson, and they don't, you're not going to plan. You're just going in. They will give you, some schools will give you a laptop whereby you have this PowerPoint. Some schools, they have the like a desktop in the classes. They will give you the login details and all that, and then you have the PowerPoint, and then you teach to the best of your knowledge. So you're covering for the lesson.
Yeah,
Wow.
you don't have that time to prep ahead of time if you're a day-to-day
No, you
cover.
don't. That's why supply teaching is, you have to be, I
And
don't know
you have
the.
sometimes you have different locations to go to. Like today is different from tomorrow. So from Monday to Friday, you might be going into 5 different
Different
schools.
schools. Yeah.
So that's it.
When my husband begged me that I should move back to the UK, you can do supply, my darling. I'm like, if you love me, you will leave me where I am. Because you guys that do supply, I really people think supply is easy.
It's
It's
not
not.
easy.
Knowing that I'm waking up in the morning and I always have to be prepared. I have to wake up in the morning and get ready as if I'm going to work, whether they call me or not, because they might call me, they might not call me. Oh, Father. I'm finding it hard to even wake up in the morning and go to the one that they've given me permanent contract. Oh, Jesus. And even that one, I know where I'm going every morning. I still wake up in the morning and I'm thinking, oh, I could do with another hour in bed, that kind of thing. So you guys are really doing a great job. I know maybe I've never said this enough, but you guys are doing a fantastic job. Now, Wekoburo, as they say in Urugu land. Someone said, sincerely, you are doing an amazing work. Many times I've wanted to practice some of these things in Nigeria, in Nigeria class, but in a class of 120 plus students, I feel like I'm on a suicide mission. 120 children.
Without an assistant, like it's you're going to be frustrated,
Please
honestly.
come here. What is
The,
that?
the system, the way the system is structured already is not
Why are they seeing
structured.
the 120 plus children in one class? Is it, please tell me, is it one class?
It's one class, of course. That's her
Chris,
class.
Christy Temi. Is it
Christy,
one
it's one
class?
class. I'm sure it's
Can you
one.
please type it there? Is it one class? I really have to know. My brain is
Probably,
going.
probably she's talking about the reports writing, because I remember one of the schools I work with in Nigeria. You have SS1A, SS1B, SS1C, SS1D, and I'm the only one taking biology. And I have SS2A, SS2B, SS2C. I have SS3A, B, C. So probably that's what, maybe she, not like in a whole class, maybe she combined all the numbers together.
Or even if okay, combining the numbers together, right? Even at
Yeah.
bio, you need
And
to.
then when you have to write reports for these classes I've mentioned, it's not easy. Even when it's reports, like report card reports, just like report writing.
No wonder you guys can do supply here. I mean, if I come, I'll be like this. Someone help me. Okay, nice one. No note copying, note marking. Won't keep. You mark notes. You give the notes, then you mark it. Explain to me, please. I don't understand. Aren't you
Note
the one who
marking, that
gives
is
notes?
for the students. No,
Yeah,
for the
yeah. I
students.
remember back home then when they finish
Yeah.
copying the notes, you need to
No, you
collect the
mark it. Correct the
read
English
through
set.
it, correct it, and then mark. So
Yeah,
that's
you start.
that's one work already. You've not thought about the assessment
But
you
there's no input from the children there now. You've vomited and then you mark the vomit
ah,
that you.
you've
What
not
is
heard
that?
you've not heard teachers complaining, she cannot copy notes. My sister will tell me sometimes she's so frustrated because the child's teacher is like, he's not able to copy notes. And I'm like, how is the copying of like what skill is that child? Because the child will write note until
There's
he
no skill
complains
there
that
now.
his hands are paining him. She
So
will
what
say
is
the one in nursery that she cannot write. She cannot. I'm like, what is going on?
not?
Like, it's that bad in nursery. This child she's about 1 year plus. They're already complaining that she cannot write. She cannot write.
Please, If you are working in the UK, children don't write until they are 4 years old when they get to reception. They do mark making, they do that's you use stick to draw strokes in the sand, you use crayon, you use water and paintbrush to write on pavement. Mark making, and you will take a picture. Yes, he can make a stroke, he can make left stroke, he can make right stroke. That's your observation note. When you get to Norway, children don't start writing until they are 7. Hey, in Egypt, I can talk about these countries because I've worked in these countries. In Egypt, the first time the child holds a pencil is 5. 5. And he would now be writing strokes. Strokes. And it's not as if you write 100
Always
strokes for him to
scribbling.
copy
So
you. No, no, no. You don't give him 100 strokes for him to copy because he's practicing how to write number one. No. Jesus Christ. In Myanmar, 4. Where again? Australia. Australia, some children in primary 3 cannot write. There's nothing you can do because they feel you go at the child's pace. Hey, you give notes to copy, then you mark the. So
yeah, you give the note to copy, you mark the note. This is minus the class work that you
where's
need.
the assessment for learning? Okay, so if you're writing Greek on the board and the child can copy the Greek, you've finished, you've taught.
No, no. The funny thing is that's copying of note for the child doesn't count for anything for that child in terms of it's not like you're assessing to say, oh, the child can there's a section in the report card where you say note copying 80%. No, it's just how time is wasted because that time you took to write a note, the time the child took to copy the note is enough for you to deliver a lesson that will be very impactful and children will take home something from. But no, it's spent on. So then I remember if I have math, like no, not math because you don't write notes for math. Yeah, you write notes, but not that kind of notes. Maybe I'm teaching twice a week. I'll use maybe on Tuesday I have PE. I'll use Tuesday PE day for note copying. So the whole of that time for PE for Tuesday will be for note copying. Then the next time I have the class is when I get to explain the lesson. Just so that I can help the kids that are slow in writing to be able. So I copy sometimes because it's your class, the first note, I would have written it on the board even before the kids come, or divide the board into 2 or 3. I write 3 subjects. Oh my!
I told you about copying from SS1 or
I
SS1B.
look
I told
back
you
at
about
all
copying from SS1B. So
some of the things
you get that. When I
Nigerians.
when I teach SS1A, SS1B, SS1C, and I will write notes on the board in each class. So at times when I get tired, I just be like, please, I will explain. You go and copy from
Rotate,
SS1.
go and copy from the other class. And these are private
Well, in
schools, so
the UK,
think
yeah,
about these are
yes, I
private
worked.
schools.
I
Give me
worked in.
some.
I didn't work in public school. Yeah.
I've never worked in public. I'm
Well, in
talking
the
about
UK, they have notebooks. Yeah, for me too. For in the UK, they have notebooks in their class. They don't take their notebooks home. They
Sorry,
don't
I
take
had to
their
go to the corner to
notebooks
shout a
home.
little because I didn't want to shout here. Sorry. My
They have
daughter,
notebooks for students here,
my daughter is
and
in year 12.
they don't take it.
My
yeah,
daughter
and
is
They
in
don't
year
take it
12
home,
and she doesn't have it.
and
the questions, what
what?
I noticed for the classrooms. So the worksheets that the teachers print out, the kids just glue it onto their notebook.
Yes.
So they don't even need to
Yes,
copy the questions on the
No.
board.
yeah,
It's already
no,
Even
written
no,
for them in the
even the
worksheet.
yes,
part where you write
They just
what
take the
will
worksheet
success
and
criteria,
write their answers.
you
And
you
then
type
on the
it
page
out.
for them to add on, if they want to expatiate on what they've written, they can now write
yes,
it on this page of the note.
yes,
Like nobody
yeah.
has time to be
Yeah,
to make
there are
mistakes.
even space, yeah, even to write the date and the topic. You already have a starter that has the date, the topic, everything. So they don't need to write. They'll just glue it into their notebooks. And then probably if you have something along, I'm talking about the UK in this slide. They can just write probably definition, just like definition of workforce. If you don't have it in your printout already, but if it's in the printout they have stuck in their book, then they don't need to write at all.
Think about it. People use their computers and all that. How much of typing skills do they teach in Nigeria? You see graduates in Nigeria typing as if they are going like this, looking at keyboard to type. Those are skills that they need to,
What happened?
help kids more with typing skills, communication skills. And
Yeah.
have you read some application letters? Have you seen some CVs? Kids in year three will do better when writing application. Kids here in year two will write a better application letter than graduates in Nigeria would write.
Because
Masters
there's
students would
here
write.
there's more emphasis on applicable skills, not
Yes,
oh my god. Do you know I can't breathe? Guys, we have a lot of videos that we have to produce. Because I can imagine coming from that system, I will be totally lost. I won't
you'll
even know
be
where to
lost.
start.
You'll be lost. And you see the reason why now. It seems like most of these people are not accepting to people that look like us. It's from the past experiences they've had. So fine, you can't put it past them that they're able to do certain things, but some of them is based on the past experiences that they've had, that they just conclude that everybody that is like
It's
this
like that.
is capable of doing these things.
Oh, I don't even know where I'm breathing here. I'm breathing in lowercase because
So that's why we are saying today that if you're not patient, then you have to rethink about teaching. If you're not, if you can't be corrected, there are some people that will say, do you know it all? When you tell them, oh, he's not this way, then they get offended. There are times in schools I've worked whereby even what they will say to me, they are trying to correct. You know this Nigerian thing in us, but you have to calm down. Then you smile. Thank you so much for the correction, because they will correct you. Here, they will tell you, fine, they might laugh with you and all that, but they will still try and tell you, okay, this is how you're expected to do it. You're not expected to do it this way. So it might sound in your ears, it might sound offensive. You just have to listen and then calm down. You have to be patient. And here, if your student is coming, you you can wait for your student to pass. In Nigeria, students must, is not will, must wait for you to pass. Must collect. Don't expect when you come, your student will collect your bag. That you're a teacher,
no,
you carry your bag.
collect bag. They will
Ehen.
ask
So
you what happened to your hand.
exactly.
Are you hurt,
So
miss?
carry your
Are you
bag.
okay,
And then
miss?
if you see your student outside, don't expect them to greet you. Just zero your mind. They are not going to greet you because you're outside the school. In the school, they might greet you, laugh at you. Oh, miss, oh, sir. When you see them outside, they might not greet you. So don't expect that, oh, and then you get to school on Monday and you be like, oh, but I saw you on Saturday. We do that in Nigeria. But I saw you on Saturday, you did not greet me. School is school, outside is outside. So that is it.
God have mercy. Okay. Uh, as a qualified maths teacher in Nigeria, can I get teaching job in the UK without QTS? You can get. It's hard because most schools will ask you to have a QTS. You have to look for academies, free schools, faith schools, and international schools or independent schools.
Mm.
Who's this? I'm watching from Diaspora Doodles. Oh, thank you. But you mentioned Omomi and Oyin. Their names are on, so each photo has a name. If I remove this, you will see the names. So just look for the names. You don't need a link and you will get to them. That's why we put their names there so you can find them on YouTube. YouTube is a search engine. So if you type in Oyin Anekwe, there's only one Oyin Anekwe. Only one. If you type in Omomi, there's only one Omomi. Only one. One and only Omomi with hot content. If you look for diaspora doodles, there's only one of me. If you start typing diaspora, my face will show up because we've chosen unique names because we're unique women. Let me fan myself. When you go for teacher interview, you have to know how to fan fan your flames. You have to know how to sell yourself. So we had that on lock. Someone said, I'm so happy to be here. We're happy that you are here too, because it means that you want to be a teacher in the diaspora and you need to know all of this so you can rep the flag properly. You know something about being in the diaspora? We said it last week. If you do something wrong, they will tar all of us with the same brush. So we want you to please come so that you will learn what to do. So that when you are good, I am good, mom is good, Oyin is good. By the time fortune will come, they will say, yes, we have people from that side of the world. Have you people not heard about how they say Asians are very smart? That they are
Mm.
they are mathematicians. Indians are math guys. You think that they
Yeah.
got there. One came, did his best. The next one came, did the best. And after some time, people just assume. It's not, I've had Asians in my class that did not meet their outcomes. Not because they didn't want to. It's just that that's their ability. But everybody has that idea that all Asians are smart. He's a Chinese guy, he's smart. If you read up on the there's a t- the a U, UK the UK government education board, you will see that there's a current thing going on about Asian children being saying that they are being discriminated against because they always expect them to be high achievers, and they are saying that that's a discrimination or a stereotype. So please read up on that because sometimes they ask in interviews. Fortunately said yes, of course. Okay, for the 120 students
It is well.
in one classroom, what are they doing with the money?
I,
They should be
I remember
building.
where I worked. If you always have a teaching assistant, right? But once you have 20 students, you have two teaching assistants.
Yeah. That should be.
Then here you're having 120. That's a whole, like, how big is the room? Do they have ACs in there? How are the kids able to survive? How do you
Guys,
even
hey, let
that?
me blow your mind. In Norway, if there are 5 children in a classroom, they have to bring another adult because it's 4 children to one adult.
One.
For early
Yes.
childhood, right? For the younger ones.
Yes.
Six down.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah, for
from
the younger
7
ones. Yeah.
to 14, from 7 to 14, 6 adults, 6 children to one adult. So in that your class of 120 students, there should be 20 teachers in that class. 20. 20. I've worked in an oil producing country. Oh. I've worked in three, Norway, Egypt, Oman. I will not go there. Hmm. Bolanle said public classes are always 100. Okay. Jacob, let me cool my mind with you because Nigeria is there. I'm from Ghana. I've been awarded QTS and I'm coming to the UK with student route. Oh, welcome. Yay. Please, will I get school to teach with my QTS? Darling,
Yeah.
you will get.
Yeah.
They have
Well,
there's a 65 million teacher shortage around the world. You
The
will get.
question is he the one coming as a student? Because if he's coming as a student, then he has just 20 hours to work.
And
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. It will get supply.
You
So you
get
can
supply.
work as a supply teacher then. But if he's your
Yes.
Yeah.
spouse, if you're married,
Yeah.
then you can.
You can work.
Why not? You can.
Ha. Emmanuel said, thank you, my sister, for buying my case. Your case? What's that? For the 120? Is it the 120? Please, I don't know. If it's the 120, see, I eat my hat, my glasses for you guys. You guys are, I cannot. Someone said, Omaomi, please, I sent my CV to your email since. Please, can you help me review it? I wish to be like you guys when I grow up. Do not wish to be like us until you know our full story. But yes, I'm sure she will find time. Please, I hope you remember that she has children. You can hear her children in the background. You remember that she has a husband. You remember that she has a job. And we've just talked about how tasking supply teaching is. When she gets to your CV, darling, you'll be the first to know because you will see the thing jump in your email fast. Ehen. We are taking time out to make sure we give you information that we didn't get because we know how tedious it was. There was no Facebook when I started teaching. So you can imagine, I didn't have any information. All the information I had were from people who didn't look like me, who had passports that were not like mine, whose experience and their cultural background was different from mine. And at that time, it was even worse because there was no shortage like this. So there was no shortage, so they didn't need me. They didn't need me. I was breaking my head in. So if mom is taking time out of her day, if Oyin is taking time out of her day, if I'm taking time out of my day, please appreciate us and be patient with us. We've talked about patience this evening and multitasking. We are multitasking like mad.
Mm.
So you be
Yeah.
patient with us. Yeah? Okay. As a matter of fact, I have 143.
Diego. You can it's hard for you to be your best with
I
this number.
have four of such classes. Ah, so that means you have
Imagine.
480. Hey, Morire o. You must mark all notes. You must mark all notes and you can mark 80 books daily. Do you know, guys? Let me blow your mind. We were talking about this a few weeks ago where you talk into a machine, mark mate, and it will mark your work for you. It will write reports for you. Hey,
Mm.
mark mate. Guys, just Google mark and mate, like classmate. Mark, like mark and mate. You guys will be blown away. When you come here, you will see that you can do 300 children self with mark mate. But it doesn't mean that they should give you people four classes of kininye. Oh, you guys are always on point. Thank you so much. Nasiru from Kano. Hey, Mungore Sose. Mungore Sose. I'm looking at his profile picture. I'm so happy. Thank you so much, Nasiru. um, yes, so we mark notes. Hey, guys, do you protest? Do you have, see, with all this thing that we talk about here, you can still, at the end of the year, we have teacher satisfaction because Ofsted would look at how happy your teachers are here,
Mm.
and teachers write because it's anonymous. We write and write and write how dissatisfied we are or how happy we are with the system so that Ofsted will save us. But it is not like this. Woo. hmm. Eh, marking alone in Shaggy. Marking alone in Shaggy. Is it lecturing? What do you mean? Is it lecturing? I don't get it.
I mean, this. I'm sure the person is saying the size of the classroom.
Ah,
Oh, okay. Exactly. Okay, exactly. Is it lecturing?
do you know, I went to Ambrosali University and I will not run my university down because they built me to who I am today to be resilient and forward thinking and all of that. But if I could go back in a time machine, I would wish to be in a different university because there were 300 of us in one lecture theater. 300 of us in one lecture theater, and some used to sit on the window because there were not enough seats and all those kind of things. I used to go and visit my sister. She was at Foot Mina, and that university was just small and cute, and everybody knew everybody. I think there were like 25 in a class, and I used to join her and sit down in her lecture theater sometimes every time I went to visit her. And I always used to think, oh my God, it was just so compact, so wonderful. And that was university.
Mm.
This is secondary school. Oh, is it primary school? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Is this primary school?
It can be primary.
But she said public school. Primary is
Yeah,
public.
yeah. I said it can be primary. It should definitely be secondary school.
So if there are 120 in secondary school, where did they come from? They must have come from a primary school.
Probably different primary schools. They
Sorry,
can
I'm a
be.
scientist. I'm thinking in logic. Ajiri said, Jay, do you mean no copying and no writing of notes in schools over there? Sorry, darling. The children go into the classroom. You, like Oyin and Mommy said, and I will reiterate it, you would have typed out. So if your learning objective, for instance, is this the right profession for you? I would have typed it out on a little paper. For if I have 30 children in my class, I will write it is is this the right profession for you on a little note. They will put it in their book and with glue. Just that's the work they do. I give each one is this the right profession for you. They put glue, stick it into their notebooks. Then the worksheet, they stick it into their notebook and write on it. So they're not copying anything. You've typed everything out for them. They just put their what they think to the
Yeah.
answers. And if all your lessons are like that with worksheets, your line manager will come down on you hard. You have visual learners in your classroom, so those kind of worksheets will work for them. You have audio learners in your classroom, so those kind of worksheets will not work for them. So you have to have a variety of lessons where one day you are listening, another day you are doing something, a third day you are writing, a fourth day you are going on a trip, even if it's walking around the school looking for that thing in the environment. And I'm talking even secondary. My daughter she's in college. She's not in key stage 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. She's in key stage 5. Agbalagba, big woman, gende, but she's still going on trips every day. So she has three notebooks. She's doing chemistry, physics, and English because she wants to go into medicine. She has three notebooks. Her bag in the morning has her lunch box, as Gideon said. If anybody has not watched that video on Mom's channel, please watch that video. I keep going back to it because I'm blown away by the fact that someone who has come from a different system has seen this system and he has told you what he saw, the difference that he experienced between both. So it's a good watch. It's a good watch. Try and watch it. It will open your eyes to a lot of things because I might not tell you enough because I didn't really work there. So I'm telling you what is here and what I feel you should know about here. But I don't if I don't know what's there, then I'm not telling you enough. Like now, I didn't know that there are 120 children in a classroom. Jesus Christ. And I'm telling people to learn differentiation. Even I cannot differentiate a class with 120 children. Where will in my class of 20 children, I have 5 groups. That one I will have, we will not go home, we'll be there.
Yeah, the numbers don't add up. The numbers don't add up because you can't have more than 6 children in a group. So how do you do it?
Eh.
Mm.
It doesn't
I don't
add up.
even put up to 6 children before they say, Miss, Miss, Miss. I don't want to hear Miss, Miss, Miss.
It doesn't add up.
Four, 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 5 groups. That's it. Okay, sit down. I some of them I sit with them all the time. Some of them I know that they're able because they're higher ability. They are children who, before you say it, they know it. So you have to give them something to not just write. Some teachers will throw a lot of worksheets at them. Those children will get bored. So you have to give them something where they will write, then they will do, then they will create, so that by the end of your lesson, they are not disturbing. Whew, Naija, oh,
Time is going.
Oh, yeah, the
marking
time
has,
teacher today. Oh,
sorry,
yes,
oh
the
yeah,
time teacher today.
600 students twice a week. Why 600? We are still talking about one. I have no words. Obe, Eboehi. It might be a government school. Okay. Yes, please. The volume of students in public schools span up to 100 plus, please. Jesus. At 4, my daughter will write full sentence on her own. Who is that?
It's actually something parents brag about here.
No.
Oh, my child can. But the application of those things is another thing.
Does she know what to do with what she has written? Can she apply it? If she can write her name, can she?
Do you know the funny? I thought about it before we round up because Onyi is the timekeeper today. Before we round up, I talked about something yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday? I said it's not that well, yeah, when a lot of arguments were coming up on that video, it's not that we teachers in Nigeria, it's not that we don't know what we're doing, or we're trying to bring Nigeria down. When I was back home, my children went to a British curriculum school. I constantly was going to that school to go and complain. At some point, the proprietress had to sit me down because she studied abroad. She was a teacher in the UK before going to have her own school. Because I was like, my daughter is 5. She should be able to write her name. She should be able to count 1 to 1,000. She should be able, and that was how we were taught. But because it was a curriculum based early years school. In fact, it's for early years only. That was what that was. She said that is our calling, just for early years. When they're going to primary, then they will go to another school. She had to sit me down, and in fact, I, you are an educationist, and another education is sitting you down and telling you things are not done this way. They are early years. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. So a lot of things we don't know. And then if your child can write a full page, then you be like, just like Gideon said, going back to that video, he said it. He said when children back home, they will just cram, pass the exam, and their
Yes.
parents will be like, "Good, well done, you have it," and they don't know anything about that subject.
Yet they will tell them to write personal statements and they are lost.
and they don't know anything about that subject.
People
So
write personal statements here from year four. My year fours will write personal statement. Of course, it will not be like a university personal statement,
yeah.
but they write personal statements in year four. And I'm blown away because they will put it's all about you. You're selling your okay. Classwork and assessment for learning. No fab videos. Assessment for learning is different from formative assessment, is different from summative assessment.
Investments.
Classwork, formative. In fact,
Exit
that's
tickets, exit tickets. You can give exit tickets at the end of your lesson.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do with assessment that people on my WhatsApp group they know. I keep telling them just wait. Let's finish the one before assessment because assessment is big. Is lesson plan and assessment they are big. Eh,
Classwork can be assessment, but I don't see how assignments, especially the kind of assignments they give in Nigerian schools. If you're assessing what you taught in the class, why not ask like this classwork now? And you don't need to give like 10 questions because you're supposed to teach only a skill per lesson. You
Mm-hmm.
can give one or two problems that
Yeah.
address that skill you've taught, right?
that's even a formative assessment.
Yeah, it's a formative
Yeah.
assessment. So
Assessment for
classwork.
learning is the one that you want to know if the child has learned. You ask him.
Okay, I
So
didn't see this assessment for learning is what I'm getting.
yeah, what did we just say? What can you tell me what we've just talked about here?
Yeah,
You want to
one
know if the child is
question.
actually taking anything you're saying in the
Yeah,
class
two
in.
question.
So you're asking
Will you
on
consider assignment as any form of assessment?
no, that's just for them to go and do consolidation. I
No,
don't
not for them,
assess
Yeah.
for their parents. For their have you seen the assessments when I was back home? I used to hate
it will be
for their
perfect.
parents to do.
Child that cannot write a sentence, you don't know where adverbial clause is, you don't know where the gerund is, you don't know where to put the adjectival phrase in the sentence, but they will bring it back. They'll be writing, hey, university level work. I just collect it, I put the stamp and put it aside. Now come and sit down and do the one I want to give you in class. Now that's my summative assessment or that's my formative assessment. I want to know is he okay? Is he learning anything or do I need to vary? Do I need to go back and break some things down? Because from the answers he has given me, I will know, oh, this child didn't get this. Or okay, he got it, but there's a few things I need to talk about back then I give it back. So there's a back and forth. It's like an active research. I give you, can you give it back to me in your own way, not exactly the way I gave you? That's another thing. That's why people come and do masters here. They cannot do paraphrasing. Hey God.
Plagiarism.
That's how it is in Nigerian schools. Sorry. Jay seems so surprised. While I was in JS1, my teacher would give me her lesson note to copy.
Yes,
No,
yes,
ma,
yes.
no, ma, I'm with you.
Now, when I was in secondary school, yes, yes, yes. I
Yeah,
agree.
I had the best handwriting, and in fact, I was the only one writing for my classmates on the board. I was like, oh my goodness.
Jay, wake up. Let's keep going.
How was your teaching in Nigeria then? Did you give notes in the international school you worked? I didn't work at an international school in
No,
Nigeria.
no, we don't give notes. It's exactly the same thing as it's done in the diaspora because
That's why we ask you if you want to come to the diaspora, you cannot get a job in an international school. Just go there, tell them you want to come and observe them for a few days so that you can see the difference between yours and theirs, just like Gideon was able to articulate yesterday. And it
it's
will
not,
just,
in Nigeria, we have a lot of schools, they say international school. Uh,
yes, mushroom schools that just spring. Those,
international schools,
no,
not those kind of international schools, oh, please. They are real, mushroom international.
somebody told me today that she works at an international school. They do British and American curriculum. I told her, I said, you don't work at an international school.
It's not an
You
international
cannot do British
school.
American because the American is there's no
Really
space
different.
to put anything in the American curriculum, and there's no space to put anything. That's why international schools in Europe they have 7 hours because the Ministry of Education insists that they must teach Spanish history, Spanish language, Spanish geography. So, or the country's values. So they have to add an extra hour because there's no space in the British curriculum to add anything. There's no space. It's so full. Sometimes you don't even finish the curriculum here. Okay. Yay, I was able to join a live session today. Yay, we're happy to have you. Teachers are not doing bad back here, but the system is not supporting. Yes, that is true. But I like the fact that over here you can reflect, and that's where your reflection comes in. In your reflection notes, you should write, the children are so many. I can by the time they see it in yours, and but then the inspectorate don't.
Mm. Mm.
Hello, my sweet ladies. Hello. Women with the steezy. What is that? Hey, I'm
Z.
lost. What is the
Whatever
name?
it
A
is.
Gen Z. Diaspora Didos is not a Gen Z.
I have Gen Z children. I have to start chewing gumming them. Patience is one thing I have come to learn, oh, because even with my large class, I don't use cane. Please don't use cane. I build rapport, but I don't know if that could mean another thing over there. No, you build rapport of close but not close. No, close but professional close. So that the children are not scared of you. They can talk to you. They can tell you what their problems are. They are free to come to you. They're not afraid that you are going to go and report them, but still far enough for them to have that respect. So everyone respects their personal space. Something like that. What's the difference between all these schools? Academy, private, independent, international, etc. Hey, the video is not out. I've done it, but so
Yeah,
the
watch out for
difference
that.
is exactly watch out for that. I'm sorry. Watch out for that. Madam Bukola Oyebanji, I mo promise yín pé mo máa gbé fídíò yẹn jáde ní túláàsì because ó tiẹ̀ ti pẹ́, sorry. Um, no acts, but they survive anyway. What's that? ACSS. Is that access?
No ACs. No ACs.
No AC.
Only
No
yeah.
AC. We really appreciate you all. We appreciate you too. You guys have educated me today. I'm very grateful. I'm the one who has enjoyed this lesson the most. It's teaching the right profession for me. Yes, I need to go and teach in my home country so that I can be educated. That will be my CPD. This is amazing. You people are doing a great job here. Well done. Please keep the ball rolling. You will not be disappointed. Amen. Is it showing?
Mm.
We do not protest because we have no union. No teachers union.
There, I said there is, but I understand what she's saying.
Nigerian Union of Teachers is there, but I don't think
Yeah, exactly. Mm.
In the UK, they have two big ones, but there's a small one, and I belong to that small one, even though I'm not in the UK. In Spain, there are two, and I belong to the one that has more power because I need the backing of my union. Norway, yeah, we had one, but they were very good. You didn't need, yeah, okay. Although some international schools will insist that you don't join union or else they won't pay you. So that's another thing for you guys to look out for if you are going to an international school. If they don't have union, run, please. Because it means that the school they want to bully you. It's not only teachers that bully children. Thank you, ladies. You are doing an amazing job. What you guys is doing is informative. I have my QTS teaching in South Africa. Hello. Are you Nigerian? I can see Chidi in South Africa. Oh, 2 days ago I had heard interview with a school in the UK. Hope the outcome is positive. Inshallah.
yes,
I
cross
mean,
for
of
your work.
course. I have an interview on Thursday. You guys should pray for me. Lórúkọ Jésù. We are praying for you. Do you have YouTube videos on teaching job interviews? We have live, not
This
only
is live
videos.
session.
We
Yeah.
have live session. We have interviews. All the pains and the sweat and the blood that we have had, we put it all together and we produce that video from all the different questions that we've had during our own interview. So you might want to go there and check it out. What's the difference between an academy and a private independent school?
Watch out.
Greetings, beautiful ladies. Kingsley from Nigeria. Hi, Kingsley. Mest. Well, it's Mest. Kingsley. Okay, a science teacher, physics. I need your guide to teach in the UK. Guys, I'm the international teacher. Momi is the UK teacher. Oyi is the American teacher. Pick and choose. It's a buffet. I told Jay before that teachers do that in my school too, giving notes to students to copy when it's time for their lessons. Guys, I'm trying to be diplomatic here. I don't want to see what's really in the core of my mind. So I'm not jumping over your questions. I'm just making sure that I don't say the one that will get us
Time
cancelled.
up, time up.
What's it like to teach in a primary school in the UK? Mommy has something. Okay, secondary. Oh, we have to do something for you guys. We will do that. Some sister schools in Nigeria do both though. British, they are not British or American schools. They are not. I will tell you now, but there are schools here practicing both. They are not, they are mushroom schools. I'm very sorry to say. Please don't cancel me, but I'm just trying to be honest here. I'm from Kenya. I have been applying, but no response yet. You need to look at your CV again. You need to look at what you're putting on your CV, because if you are getting, if you're not that, if nobody's calling you for interviews, is your CV, and maybe you are not hitting the recruitment window. If they're calling you and you're going for interview and they're not, is not translating, then it means you need to look at your confidence. You just meet any one of us and it will be fine. What's the difference between British and American school? We'll make sure we do it live on that, because there are children and there are people who need to go to work. It's supposed to be an hour, but it's stretched to two. Can ECT be used instead of QTS? No, ECT, you're an early career teacher, and an early career teacher is someone who has a QTS. You cannot jumble, you cannot use one or the other. You have to have QTS before you become an early career teacher. So, yes. If you're coming from outside of the UK, they might put you on an early career path because you've not done your NQT year. And you, after your NQT year, you are supposed to do your 3 years, two. For some schools it's two, so for some schools it's three of early career teaching training. So yeah. How would there be AC now? Why are you shocked, Janet? I'm shocked. Because I'm sport, I'm a sport cat, maybe. Nigerian Union of Teachers is there, but trust Niger. I trust my country. Please, I will be glad if you people involve a secondary school permanent teacher to give up their own side of the story. There's a permanent teacher who was on Mommy's channel. We're trying to entice him. I don't know if he'll be comfortable with all women, but we'll try to be on our best behavior so that we can get him here for your viewing pleasure. Now, thank you very much for being on this live segment today, and we hope to see you next week. With all our love and appreciation for your time this evening, we have to
Ah,
say
my no
that thing
complaint.
that that thing that Oyin's slide is showing. But we are showing it, but Oyin is translating it into. Love you guys. Thank you. Mwah, mwah.
Bye. See you
God
next
bless. Bye. Sorry, Oyin.